What's up, everybody? Welcome into the latest edition of Warchant TV. I'm Aslan Hajavandi, Director of Digital Media for Warchant.com. Friendly reminder, if you're not a member of Warchant.com, use the promo code WARCHANT30 for a free 30-day trial to the ultimate Seminole sports source. And if you're a student right now at Florida State, maybe you actually play on the club baseball team, email support@warchant.com from your official Florida State student email address account, and you'll get a promo code for 12 months of access to warchant.com for only $12. It's a true thing, I promise. Email us, support@warchant.com from your FSU student email address to get that offer. Coming up now on the other side of this, Ira Schoffel, the managing editor of warchant.com, sat down with Sam Nadel and Clay Gilman. These two guys actually play for Florida State's club baseball team. Well, Clay used to. Sam is currently the president. They talked about how they know Tim Becker, what kind of kid Tim Becker is, and if Tim Becker tweets or not. Basically, it's a really good sit down. These guys give you some real good insight into what makes Tim, Tim. He's coming fresh off perhaps the best sporting weekend for a Florida State athlete since Jessica Warren out in Oklahoma City when the Noles won the national title. We can only hope that maybe baseball can replicate the feat. So here now is Ira Schoffel, the managing editor of Warchant.com, with Sam and Clay from Florida State's club baseball team.
So Clay, did you guys know Tim was going to start in the regional? I know he started seeing a little bit more playing time, but the guy had 30-something at bats coming into the postseason. Did you guys know he was going to play a lot or even start?
No, so we had seen that the left fielder had been struggling a little bit, so we were hoping he'd get in, but we hadn't seen any inclination by Coach Martin that he was going to start him, and then we saw the lineup come out on Friday. And I made sure we were sitting at home watching the game. And, of course, he hits 2 home runs, which is real exciting. And, from there, we made sure we watched all weekend, and it was just great to see. But, no, we had no idea he was going to be starting until, Friday after.
Sam, was the same scenario for you, just kind of finding out when the lineup came out? And also, so what was your reaction the first time he hit a home run? I mean, were you watching it live and kind of describe the emotions?
I live in Atlanta, actually, and so I'm about an hour from Athens. And Tim offered me tickets to the game, and I couldn't go. But then he hit that first home run. I was kicking myself that I didn't go. And then he hit the second home run, and I almost threw my computer across my room. I was so mad. But, I didn't know he was going to start. I mean, I think he said he didn't know he was starting until that afternoon. So that was a nice surprise. Definitely. I would have gone to that game, but I went to the rest of the series that weekend.
Did you? So what was the talk? I mean, obviously Clay can talk about the social media, but I want to stick with you for a second. What was it like? I mean, just among the fans, were you telling people, hey, I know that guy, I played with that guy, or how was that on location?
So I wore my club baseball jersey to the game, and I think wherever they were broadcasting, ESPN2 or Watch ESPN, they were like, I think Tim's got a club baseball friend in the stands. And so, every time he'd go up, it'd be like, let's go, Tim, cheering him on. And I think people kind of knew, like, hey, who's that guy cheering him on? I was like, I played club baseball with Tim, because by that second day, everybody kind of knew the story. Tim came from the club ball team. I mean, after that first game, everybody was kind of locked into Tim. He was the big story. And so it was just cool. A lot of guys from the team, they all live in Florida, so they didn't have the shot to come up and watch him, but I got to be there firsthand watching. It was pretty cool.
Clay, I know you're real active on social media. Both you guys I know are on social media, but what was it like just kind of seeing, the memes? I mean, it kind of turned into just something crazy.
I mean, the best part about it is that, I know Tim, and watching him get all this activity on social media, he does not necessarily enjoy being in the spotlight. So it's pretty cool to see everybody doing it for him. His best friend on the team, Joey Dadone, had a bunch of people over watching, had a watch party, and FSU Baseball's tweeting back at them and stuff. So it's just really cool to see the whole FSU club baseball community kind of rally around him, which then turned into the whole FSU baseball as a whole, which, like I said, Tim is not one to put himself in the spotlight, but playing like that, it just kind of.
It was in the post game when he was asked, I guess Corey asked him if he was the best hitter on the club team, and he deferred and said that it's like, no, we got a lot of really good hitters on the team. What was, where did he rank on the team? Was he considered one of the better? I know he was the president of the club, but kind of where did he rank among the players?
Well, I'll let Sam get to this next. I mean, if he wants to comment, but I mean, last year Tim was definitely our best hitter. He hit I was 5'10" and had 10 home runs, so he was definitely our best hitter. Our whole lineup was actually very good. I hit 509, throw it out there. Sam hit 460 with 5 home runs or something. So we have guys that could hit. But Tim. I mean, from everything I saw, was the best player in the country last year hitting. So, as much as we all club guys want to say, we could have the chance, Tim was our best player for sure. So, again, he's humble and he won't necessarily say it, but Tim, when he's healthy, was easily the best player on our team.
So we had Nico Baldor, the first baseman. He played with us last year from Miami, and he kind of knew he would have a walk-on spot coming into the year, so he was just using us as a year to kind of stay in baseball because of transfer rules. But yeah, for Tim, I think I went out with Tim. We kind of trained together before the walk-on tryout. And I mean, summer I wasn't up in Tallahassee and Tim was, and I came back and I could tell Tim definitely, he had his mindset on it because I saw him and he was pretty yoked when he came back, and we went out and took BP and he was just crushing balls. I was like, oh my God, I think Tim could have a shot at this. And Florida State, they always get the rap for, being a traditional program. Maybe not a lot of walk-ons they let on, but I don't know, Tim just went out there and he had a good tryout, and he figured, worst comes to worst, I'll play another year of club baseball and hit 5'10" and 10 home runs off a bunch of kids who are 5 years younger than me and have a great time.
It's funny because I went to a big high school in Miami, 2,500 students, and I don't think people realize like how high quality level baseball you guys are playing. Because again, I went to a huge school, and our best player was a kid named Donald Shank, who was by far the best player on our team, best kid we all grew up with. And he wanted to walk down to Florida. He had a couple smaller schools offer, but he wanted to walk down to Florida, and he thought he had a great tryout. He was fired up about how he hit, how he ran, how he fielded. He thought for sure he was going to make the team. And there was like 50 guys in the tryout, and they just took the guy that ran the fastest 60. Like the whole thing was just pointless. How hard is it? I guess Clay, could you just talk about the opportunity to play in a school like Florida State? How big of a difference is it from the club team, do you think? I mean, when you're watching, you guys play baseball, you guys were all probably among the best players at your high schools and in your areas. But to play club baseball, is it more just about the fun, or do you feel like there's a big difference?
Well, I mean, there's definitely the main difference is the pitching. I mean, most of the really good pitchers in high school, they get noticed and they get an opportunity to play. So we don't see quite the same pitching. There was a guy from ECU about 2 years ago, got drafted from the club team. So you do see a couple guys, or not drafted, he got signed out of the club team. But you do see a couple, but it's typically the pitching is a little different. But yeah, I mean, the talent level is there because I know Sam had a couple offers at a high school. I had a couple. I think Sam Peary played at Florida Gulf Coast for a semester. So, I mean, there are guys that play. It's just, we kind of get to have a college experience and play, baseball on the side competitively, which is a blessing, honestly.
Sam, what's the experience? I mean, are you guys, Coach Martin made the comment about these are guys that probably don't get money for gas or anything else. What is the experience like in terms of, I mean, you guys have to pay dues, you have to raise sponsorships. Kind of, could you talk us through the process a little bit?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I was the president this year. Tim made me president after he left. And so, it was kind of interesting seeing how we had to afford everything and we had so many expenses. I was like, how are we going to pay for everything? The D1 team, they get everything covered. But yeah, we pay dues. I mean, gas, we don't really get reimbursed for gas at all, but we get a little bit of a stipend from the club sports office. But other than that, I mean, it's basically on us if we want to go somewhere and play. I mean, we have to make sure we cover the money for hotels, food. And I mean, it's basically on us since we're the ones who want to stay in the game. We have to basically provide everything for ourselves. So it's a blessing and it's a little bit of a curse because, at the same time, we don't want to have to pay for this stuff. But since we want to play so bad, that's why we're willing to, throw a little extra money out there so we can have that good experience playing baseball.
But, again, I've looked on social media and seen your guys' pages and the team photos. I mean, you guys have like legit uniforms. You guys look like, you take it. It's clear how seriously you guys take it. Clay, how much fun has this been seeing just the support and interest in the club program, and also like club teams from other schools all seem to be like fired up about Tim Becker too.
Yeah, I mean, I know anybody that's played club baseball. For me, especially it was the best 5 years I've ever played baseball. It's like I said, you get to have fun, and that everybody's there because they want to play baseball. I mean, that's the cool thing about club is you have to want to play. I mean, you're paying to do it. So that's really cool. And you see all these other, I know some of the teams like Mississippi State commented and I think Ole Miss, but I know we played Mississippi State, so they kind of know Tim. And it's just it's pretty cool to see everybody around the country get behind him. And like I said, it couldn't have happened to a better guy just because the way Tim works harder than anybody I've ever seen playing baseball, especially for somebody who was paying to play. He still would want to go to the cage every weekend. And so, like I said, it just couldn't have happened to a better guy. And it's just great to see everybody getting behind him, especially from around.
Then sticking with you, Clay, for 1 second. So how do you think he's going to – you said he's not necessarily comfortable with all of this attention. Now he's going to have a week of this, people talking about Tim Becker. How do you think he's going to handle it? And you think it's going to affect him at all or be a challenge kind of going into the super region? I don't think it'll affect him necessarily playing wise because I know Tim is pretty locked in whenever he wants to, stay focused. But I can assure you he's going to be pretty humble the entire time. He's not going to say anything crazy, and he'll stay fairly quiet. Because if you watch the press conference, you could see, Drew Mendoza's sitting there. And my parents are good friends with his parents, so I've met him before. But he was, looks like he's been there and is talking. And Tim's, like pretty one sentence kind of guy. I'm not sure you're gonna get much more than that out of him, even this week with all the attention, just because he likes to lead by example a lot. And Sam, I guess just how do you guys, in terms of the relationship with the Division I baseball team, do you know any of those guys? Obviously you guys know Nico, but do you still? It seems like you guys are as fired up about FSU baseball, the D1 team, even though you're not on that team. Is the relationship different at all, or do you support them like any other students?
So, we definitely, we support all of our FSU teams. We all go to basketball games, football games together before the game. We all, tailgate and hang out. And, baseball, definitely, there are times when we're like, oh, man, like one of us should be on the team, representing the club. And but this year we had Tim, we had Nico. There was no reason not to support the team, especially Mike Martin's final year. We just want to support our guys because it's so rare for a club baseball player to be playing on a D1 program, especially a historic program like Florida State. One of the most well-known programs past half century probably. And we have two guys from our club that are on the team this year. So it was definitely a good time to rally around it. We got some good exposure too this year from the club standpoint, social media. Our guys, we love commenting on all the posts, making jokes, saying, Tim Becker MVP. And it's been a lot of fun for us because it's been something outside of our own club. We've been able to support, the D1 team and kind of follow them. And at the same time, we're following our buddies who we've played with the past few years.
Awesome. Clay, since, I guess either one of you, whoever feels more comfortable, do you want to share some of the information about the club in terms of if people want to, donate or do you guys take random donations from people? I assume you guys could use the help.
I'll let Sam talk about it since he's still on the team. But yes, we do take donations from anybody for sure. Sam, you can go ahead and talk about it.
Yeah, we take donations. The more donations we get, the more Tim Beckers we produce. It's as simple as that. So we don't have coaches. We don't have a weightlifting program. We don't have, facilities. We use a local park to practice. And so basically it's on us if we want to get better. It's guys who want to stay in the game and want to have that big school experience instead of maybe playing at a JUCO or a D3 school. We're able to go to Florida State, have that big school experience, but then still play competitive baseball at the same time. Playing intramurals is fun, but it doesn't give you that same feeling as it does, last inning, bottom of the last inning, you got to come back, you're down 1 run. I mean, there's nothing like that. And I think club baseball kind of offers guys who still love the game, still want to be a part of it, but don't want to sacrifice their college experience just to play at a small school. So I think club baseball, I mean, I don't regret one bit playing club baseball at Florida State rather than maybe going to a small school, maybe getting noticed. So I encourage it for anybody who's kind of torn between, going to a small school or maybe going to a big school, get that good degree, we have a great program all across the board and basically every part of our school. So a lot of school pride, and it's just a great experience for everybody who comes out. I've heard nothing but positive things from freshmen all the way to seniors.
And yeah, you guys have Twitter accounts and Instagram accounts. I'm sure people can reach out to you guys that way to try to get more information. And Clay, last thing. So how many games does the team usually play in a season? And how much travel is involved? Because that was the other thing I meant to ask earlier.
So we have a conference. So you have to play every conference you play, or conference team you play 3 games. So whoever wins the conference goes to the playoffs. And our conference currently is UF, Miami, Florida Gulf Coast, I believe, and just UCF right now. And then this year they went up to Vanderbilt, and Vanderbilt actually gets to play on their real field, so they got to play on Vanderbilt's turf, real nice stadium. But you typically play between like 21 and 27 games in the regular season. That's what we do. And then if you win your conference, you get to go to regionals, which is 4 teams. And then if you win the regional, you go to the World Series, which is 8 teams. And they just finished 3rd this year. But we've been to the World Series. We went last year. We went in 2016 and we went in 2015. So our team's been pretty good the past, 5-6 years or so. And it's like I said, it's a really fun time. And as Sam said, I would recommend it for anybody that's, on the fence between a small school and going to Florida State, because going to a football game in the fall and going to the club baseball games.
You guys have any watch parties coming up or anything? Tim Becker watch parties for this weekend?
We may have a FaceTime, but we're all over the place. I know a bunch of our friends are down in Southeast Florida, where Tim's from, and then Sam's up in Atlanta. I'm in over by Tampa, so we may have to have like a little FaceTime Skype party.
Sam, you if he comes up with tickets, you're making the trip over to Baton Rouge this week?
I don't know about that one. That's a bit of a hike. You might have to throw in some airfare there, but I'll be watching every game. I'll support Tim every AB. I mean, he just goes up there with that. He's got a great approach, always has. My freshman year when I came in, I told my dad, like, hey, this Tim Becker kid, he's like one of the best hitters I've ever played with before. And my dad's like, which one is he? And I was like, the lefty. And the next at bat hits a home run over the right center fence. I'm like, yeah, that's Tim right there. So we're all just happy for Tim. I mean, he's so humble. I said, Tim, if there's ever a time to like indulge in a little bit of, go into it, read some Twitter, just look up Tim Becker on Twitter. And he goes, no, I don't twit.
Tim Becker, I don't twit. All right, guys. Well, hey, listen, I really appreciate it. It was a lot of fun. Hopefully Tim continues the success through the weekend and Florida State has a good run. And again, it's been fun learning about your guys' program, and thanks for taking the time to talk to us. And we'll have more. If people see this video, we also have a story to go with it at warchant.com. So we appreciate it. And hopefully we'll talk to you guys again soon.